another addition to butter in the kitchen. But yeah, the main topic of today is about starch. You know what I mean? But first of all, I want to get started on like something light real quick. Like, people need to really evaluate where the source of their information is. Like, I'm not talking about the source as in like the textbook or whatever. I'm just talking about like the source, the person who is telling you this information. Like, this person is obese. They have like a, or if they're not even, if they're on their way to obesity, they got that tire right here, a nice tire, and then big love handles or something. Nasty, or like the third chin popping. But yeah, something like anybody like, you know, like that telling you anything about like what you should eat, like that should be like disregarded immediately, because they obviously have no clue. And you know, or I mean, like, I hate to say it, people with glasses. I mean, if you have glasses, you kind of don't know what to eat either. Like, or you might know what you shouldn't be eating, you know, if you have glasses, because you know what the problem is, maybe. But if you have glasses, you really don't know what to ingest, because that's why you have glasses. You and your ancestry ate something that diminished your eyesight, your vision. So we're going to talk about starch today, and that has a lot to do with your wearing glasses and having contacts too. But starch is the main topic of the day. Starch. Alcohol is starch, pure starch. Sugar is pure starch. Cocaine is pure starch. Heroin is pure starch. Starch is used to make plastics and glues and to stiffen your clothes. It's a stiffening agent. It comes from the word sturgeon, or Latin word sturgeon, which means to stiffen. And that's why, like, if you eat starch, and you say if you work out, like if you have any energy after eating it, after you crash, because you're going to crash from eating it. It's going to get like cocaine gives you a rush and then you crash. Sugar and starch, same thing, they give you a rush and then you crash. It's pure starch, what it does. It's false energy. So, yeah, like, you know, like if you eat it and then you work out on it, like if you run, play basketball, whatever the case may be, you're eating starch. As soon as you stop your workout or whatever and everything settles, you know, your blood, you know, settles. Or if you work, even if you just do push-ups, you get that pump, you know, whatever. Like, you know, all that, it gets stiff maybe the next day, or like probably 10 minutes after you stop, if not sooner, your body starts to stiffen up, because the starch is in your blood. After you've ran on everything, it's all in your blood now, and it's been sent to the areas of the body you've been using. So if you've been doing push-ups, elbows, or you know, inner elbow, or this area, your pec area might get stiff or tight because it is starch. It's because of starch stiffening and eating away at the area. And your body, like if you got a cut, your body's going, you know, you're going to get a scab because your body stiffens that area so it can heal. It's like the same thing with arthritis. Like if you you know, like people that are, you know, getting arthritis or gout, you know, they're all stiff, and you know, they might, you know, even tense up and not even be able to move, you know, like their hands or joints because of the starch. Like, it's eating away all your joints, everything. So then your body tries to stiffen it up to heal. Arthritis is what your body is doing to heal, pretty much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your body doesn't do anything to hurt itself. Nothing. It doesn't do anything to hurt itself. The body just survives and heals every second of the day. That's what it does. That's what nature does. It survives. That's what it does. So, I mean, starch consumption, what it does over the years. Starch eats away at all your joints, like I said. That's why elderly people have bad hips, bad knees, because it's just eating away at all these joints, and, you know, you're working on it, you know, you keep, you know, you're going about, that's why your posture gets bad too, because eating away at your back, everywhere. Starch just eats away at everything and dehydrates everything. Like pure alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, it dries something up. You put, you know, rubbing alcohol on your skin, it dries it up, right? Like, you know, that's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? So if you eat the starch, drink the starch, it's gonna dry that area up, and it's gonna be dehydrated, and you know, like, well, that's what it does to your eyes, like I said in the last video. So that's why it goes hand in hand with diabetics. Diabetics, you know, all they eat is pretty much blood and starch most of the time. You know what I mean? Starch. It definitely starch is a sure thing. So that's why their eyes, especially the offspring of a diabetic, especially if the mother is diabetic, the eyes are so dried out that, you know, and so mucused up dehydrated from the starch that you need glasses and contacts. So, you know, if you knew what to eat, you wouldn't have glasses anymore or contacts. So, you know, people act like we've progressed because we found crutches such as contacts when you weren't born with contacts. You know, so yeah. Anyway, starch, like diabetics too. Why do diabetics have to get extremities cut off, like their feet and hands? Their blood pressure is becoming it's just so bad. Like the blood isn't even circulating well at all because everything is just blocked up and dehydrated. Like, you know, like it's the same thing with erectile dysfunction. Your blood and your penis, if you're a male, a penis is a muscle, and it fills with blood to stiffen to do its job. So, you know, if you're eating starch, or even if you're smoking, you know, whatever, because, you know, if you have mucus in the lungs, your mucus is in the whole system. So, you know, the mucus has now, you know, basically invaded or, you know, congested the penis. So it can no longer, the blood can no longer fill up the muscle to stiffen it anymore. And that's why a lot of people, you know, have, you know, pre-cum and things like that. Pre-cum is just mucus, you know, it's just mucus. You know, your body is trying to get a lot of that mucus is prostate mucus, because, you know, it's like prostate and thyroids, you know, the uterus, basically those go like pretty much hand in hand with each other, like, you know, for male and female. Like if a female eats a lot of starchy food, a lot of starch, sugar and starch, it dehydrates the uterus and then it stiffens up, and then, you know, they get a little it'll stiffen, and then the mucus will start to cover it in self-defense. And then you keep eating it, and then, you know, areas will dry so bad, and the mucus will build up so bad that it's going to cover cells. Then the body's going to centralize the problem, like it does with all cancers or anything of that nature. The body didn't do anything to hurt itself, so it's going to centralize the problem. It's going to bring those low oxygen cells that have been covered by the mucus, suffocated by the mucus. So all these suffocated cells are going to get grouped together, and then they're going to be called a cyst. And then they're going to get bigger and bigger as you keep eating, and it's like, you know, that little area is going to, you know, eventually be a tumor. So then you have a thyroid tumor, and then they'll say you need to cut the thyroid out and all this stuff. Like, no, you just need to get off the starch. You know what I mean? The body will heal itself. The body heals itself. The herbs just aid it. The herbs will flush the mucus or aid in them. You know, get inflammation, mucus, plaque. Same difference. Plaque is dried mucus. So plaque is. Cholesterol is mucus. It's in self-defense. So when the mucus builds up and dries and builds in the capillaries and the veins, the mucus is going to build up to a point where, you know, the flow of blood is just impossible. And then you can no longer send blood to a certain part of the body. And if you're dying, you know, then you have to get a foot cut off. Or you're going to have erectile dysfunction and can't get your dick up. So, I mean, you can keep eating blood and starch if you want to. You can do these things. You know, people can get abortions. That doesn't make it correct. So, you know, you're gonna keep eating the blood and starch. By the time you're 30, disease will already have manifested somewhere in the body, whether it be, you know, somewhere along the digestive tract, in all likelihood. So, you know, pretty much the starch undermines your thinking. Alcohol, like I said, is pure starch. It's liquid confidence. It interferes with your hypothalamus in your brain. That's the mood regulator in your brain. That's what starch does. It interferes with that. It conflicts with that. It basically just has you doing things that you would not normally do. Like if somebody, you know, all alcohol is concentrated starch. Like, you know, like if you basically, alcohol is fermented sugars and starches. Heated up sugars and starches, they turn into alcohol, and people drink it and act like they wouldn't act. So like if you eat concentrated sugars and starches, your body's 98 degrees is going to ferment in your body. It's going to create alcohol, and it's going to undermine your thinking. Yeah, that's pretty much what it does. So that, you know, starch is the motherfucking devil, really, if you want to keep it real. It has people doing things they would not normally do to one another. It's really the root to all evil. People say money is the root to all evil, but starch is the root to money. Starch, where does starch derive from? Starch is the binding agent between two plants. Like if you hybridize two plants that are unequivocal frequency, like if it's a yam and another plant like a Queen Anne lace, you hybridize the two plants, you know, either by splicing them or cross-pollinating them. So when that happens, the binding agent that connects these two plants of unequal frequency, vibratory rate, they're different vibrations. This would never happen in nature. It's a man-made product, the hybrid. So you hybridize them, and the starch binds them together. So that's why, like, if you hybridize a Queen Anne lace and a yam, you're gonna get a carrot. Carrot's artificial. That's why a carrot doesn't have a seed-bearing fruit. The part that you eat from a carrot does not have a seed. Anything that is natural has a seed to reproduce itself. Humans, you have a seed to reproduce yourself. So anyway, right? It's a binding agent. That's what starch is. That's why people use it for glues and plastic. So and it's the same thing. Like, you control a horse with sugar cubes, which is just pure starch. You control a dog with treats, which is pure starch. You control human slaves with starch or blood and starch. That's all they fed the slaves when they brought them from Africa. You think they brought their food with them? No, they didn't bring their food with them. They wanted to control them. The best way to control people is to control the food source. So that's what people have done. They controlled the food source. So there's a lot of starch and garbage, on the market. Corn is artificial. Rice is artificial, except black rice. The original corn or kernel plant is the teosinte. It's from South America. It's a smaller kernel plant. The one that you have now was made to have a bigger yield. It's an artificial starch-based plant. Same thing with wheat. These are hybrid plants. That's why many people have wheat allergies. Really, everyone is allergic to wheat and corn and soy. The scientific name for soy is glycine max. It's an acid-based, glycerin-based, starch-based plant. That's what it is. Starch is acid. It converts to carbonic acid in the intestines, in the body. So, that's another thing too, why starch, as I said, is a binding agent. It sticks to your ribs. Sticks to your meat and potatoes, sticks to your ribs. So, like, basically, it's eating you. And the longer it stays there, and it dehydrates everything, like I said. It's going to dehydrate your intestines. It's going to make that area where the food's supposed to pass through dehydrated, and that part of the intestine is going to, shrivel up, like anything that dehydrates, like a grape. You dehydrate it, it'll be a raisin. It shrinks. So, like, you dehydrate the intestines, and then that area is even smaller, and then you get more backed up because the food can't go through this smaller area, and you're just eating starch, so it's even getting more tight in there. That's why a lot of people that eat blood and starch, if not all of them, have 10 to 15 pounds of blood and starch caked up in their colon and intestines. Just pure garbage. And then that's another thing too. Like, most vegans, like I said, they eat soy. I say 9 out of 10 vegans go about being a vegan completely incorrectly. They eat soy, they drink soy milk, or like all types of things. They eat wheat, they eat starch-based plants. So, like, it's not chemical affinity. We're carbon-based beings. Do you want a carbon-based plant? Carbon-based being, carbon-based plant, chemical affinity. It's affinity, it's consistency. Starch-based plant, carbon-based human, it's disaffinity. It's a disequilibrium. The body will not utilize this for food properly at all. You'll get a false sense of energy and then crash. That's what starch does. It's complete garbage. It's man-made. It's like eating plastic or glue. Same thing with dairy, with milk. Cheese is liquid with liquid milk, really. So, like, milk is liquid cheese, I'm gonna say. So, like casein, the protein in milk is used to make plastics as well. So, it's just starch is probably the root to all evil. It's just terrible for people. It just has people acting crazy and doing things they would never do. And it just undermines our thinking so much. Starch dehydrates everything it touches. Sugar is pure starch, like I said. So, I would just say stay away from the starch. It is the worst thing. Some things are more acidic than meat. And even, dead flesh is terrible for you. Like, anything that's acid is not electrical. The body is electrical. It's made up of 102 minerals. They all have an electrical rate, a vibratory rate. You can find all these minerals on the atomic scale if you wish. The 102 minerals are strained along a carbon base, and you're 75% H2O. Hydrogen has an atomic rate. Oxygen has an atomic rate. Everything that physically exists has an atomic rate, an electrical rate, vibratory rate, whatever you would have you. So anything acid is not electrical. You know, it's like putting diesel in a gasoline engine. So like yeah, like you need an alkaline, electric food, living food, not dead, acidic food. It's only going to take away from you. It's going to rob you. That's another thing when you drink too. Think before you drink. There's no, like, water isn't just water. H2O, it has pH levels. If it drops below 7, if it drops below 7.1, do not drink it. Only drink spring water if you can't get a hold of artesian water, like Fiji or New Zealand artesian. So like, basically, the pH is below 7.1, or 7. Below 7 is man-made. You know, it has no mineral content. It's acidic water. It's like reverse osmosis water. They push it through a membrane and push everything out of the water. They filter it. It's like drinking piss. It's like the same thing if you eat processed food. If you eat an apple and digest it and defecate it, you have processed that apple. So if you eat processed food or filtered water, it's like drinking piss and eating shit. Literally, that's what it's like. That's the pH level of it. So that's what it's like. It's akin to that. So I mean, yeah, stay away from the acid foods. And yeah, all the people that would say, like, you know, there's acids in the body. The body has an alkaline pH. You have to look at the body in holistic form. You do not look at the body in little bits and pieces unless, you know what I mean, unless you really want to break it down. And even if you do break it down, you're going to see that everything is made of minerals and all has an electrical rate because it physically exists. So like I was saying, the body has an alkaline pH. When you remove a substance, one thing, isolate it, extract it from the body, it's removed from the body, the confines of the body. Now it is acidic. So, yeah, the body's alkaline. The body needs alkaline food, not acidic food. So, yeah, please try it. Please try it. Because if you have not tried an alkaline diet, if you have not dropped blood, starch, dairy, which is, you know, just liquid cow pus because they pasteurize it. You know, they boil it, it's a boiled pus. So, yeah, and that's the same thing with a lot of juices. They've been pasteurized, so that concentrates the sugar in the juices, which makes it acidic. So, yeah, like, you know, just try it. You have to try it. If you have not tried it, you're speaking out of total ignorance. You're regurgitating. If you read something in a book and regurgitate that to me, I'm looking at a parrot. You have to experience. Experience is true knowingness. That is true knowing. If you have just been told or read or viewed, whatever, if you have not tried it, like, if you go eat an alkaline diet and then go run a mile and then eat or stay on blood and starch and run a mile and tell me how you stiffen up and how your energy's low and how you need 8 hours of sleep and all this type of shit, and then switch to an alkaline diet. You will not stiffen up. You will feel better than ever. Your vitality will be better than ever. You know, so yeah, like, it's really about trial and error. It's about knowingness, about you knowing. You know what I mean? Evaluate who is telling you what you've been, you know, the regurgitated information that you're going to spew to other people. You must try it for yourself. If you have not experienced an alkaline diet with no blood and no starch, you are at least 50% ignorant to the topic at hand. You're really 100% ignorant, because if you haven't, you know, tried both sides, you're making your, you know, you're limiting yourself. You know, you're one eye open at best, you know. And that's another thing, vitamins too. Vitamins is a play on words, vital minerals. Like I said, the body's 102 minerals. So, like, you know, like what man tries to do is tries to take things like an oxide, like from a rock. You know, that's why vitamin C is, in parentheses, ascorbic acid, because it's an extraction, an isolated and concentrated extraction. It is not in holistic form. Like, they take it directly from the rock, whereas if you took it from the plant, there's minerals and rocks in the ground. The plant sends its roots into the ground, converts the minerals in the ground into a liquid food for the plant itself. The process of a solid to a liquid mineral is iontrophoresis, according to Edward Schutz. So, and oh yeah, by the way, starch-based plants cannot do that. Starch-based plants can only absorb water and sun and the water that in the wind. That's it. That's all it can do. And if it's a dry area, there is no water in the wind. So I mean, yeah, only alkaline-based plants can perform iron through turning minerals in the ground into a liquid digestible food. So the